Hey everybody, my name is Alex Rodriguez with Bay Cities Construction. I want to talk to you today about gaining compliance with your soft story building in the city of Los Angeles and the city of Santa Monica. The city of Los Angeles has passed Ordinance 183893 and 184081. These two ordinances mandate the retrofitting of soft story buildings within the city of Los Angeles. Any soft story structure larger than 3 units be structurally retrofitted so that it can withstand an earthquake. Typically, a soft story building is a multi-level structure with ground level parking, and basically the openings that you need in order to be able to roll the car into its parking structure makes the structure weak by today's seismic standards. This is a good example of a soft story building. This building happens to be one that we're about to start working on in Santa Monica. As you can see, the yellow Camaro is in its parking structure, and there's a column to the left of it. This is a wood structure. It's a 4-unit apartment building with a detached front unit. And the rear section, what you're looking at here, even though there's kind of like a funky white garage next to it, it's still considered a soft story structure. The next diagram that you'll see is a typical soft story diagram, and it shows wood columns holding up the front side of the building. The fact that you're missing that whole front section makes it soft. It makes it structurally weak by today's standards. So any of these soft story buildings that were built before January 1st, 1978 are not up to code and will trigger a mandated retrofit in the city of Los Angeles. If your building is 3 units or less, you don't have to comply with the ordinance, but I would double check with the city. You probably didn't get a notice to comply. If you have 3 units or more, you definitely have to comply. There's definitely some dates posted depending on what part of the city you're in. We're gonna put together a heat map of those sections of the city, and we'll put a link below. So just be on the lookout for that. The law was passed November 2015 in the city of Los Angeles. You know, the clock is ticking. I think it's 6 years total. We're about to be 2 years into the law. Most people have 4 years left to comply. As you can see from the image on the screen, this is a computer model of a building that has failed. You see that little red truck on the left? It's crushed under the building weight. So these soft story structures many times will give way during a substantially strong earthquake. This is a large building in the city of Los Angeles in the middle of a retrofit. And you can see that there's these huge I-beams that are put in place to support the structure and really to lock the structure in place. This type of retrofit is absolutely necessary for a large building this size. Now, you should also consider that you may have to move over some plumbing fixtures. If you notice in this other image, the I-beams are present on the left side of the screen, and then to the right you'll see like a wood on the corner of the building. You'll see that there's a steel post, and then just slightly to the right of that there's a big waistline. It's that black pipe with that silver cap on it. So oftentimes you may have to incur the cost of relocating some of these pipes if they're in the way of the retrofit. The next thing I want to talk to you about is what is the process for doing the retrofit or getting your plans approved, okay? Because that's something that a lot of people want to know, and they want to know what it's going to cost. You will need a full set of plans. This is considered type 5 plans, and it's typically printed on a 2 by 3 foot sheet. On here you'll have your site plan, and you'll also have your engineering details. This is basically the set of plans that you need to take to the city to get your project approved and to pull permits. The next part of the process is once you have the plans done, somebody needs to represent you at the city. Now, you could do this yourself, but I don't recommend it. It's not a good idea. You should have somebody that has experience dealing with the city of Los Angeles, the city of Santa Monica, to represent you to keep your plan approval process on the right track. You will need these plans also to get a quote. Everybody wants to know how much it's going to cost, right? But you need a set of plans in order to be able to make that determination. The only way to get a real hard number on what it's going to cost is to have the full set of plans, because in here the engineer tells me exactly what's got to be done, okay? And every building is different. So don't go by just estimates. Invest in some plans and get an actual design done so that you can get a real price, a quote, not an estimate, an actual quote. Now that we're talking about money, you should know the difference between a quote and an estimate. We put together a blog article that talks about just that. It's not only related to soft story retrofit, but to all kinds of construction processes or construction projects. Please check out that blog article. It's actually one of our more popular blog articles, and I think you'll find a lot of useful information and understanding the difference between an estimate and a quote. Number 4, construction planning. You have to give notice to your tenants. You have to plan for the project. You should have a full schedule presented to you so that you can make the proper arrangements with your tenants and with the folks living at the property, okay? So that's something that's super, super important. Many times you're gonna have to move plumbing and electrical infrastructure. It's gonna be in the way. Tenants are gonna be affected. Some tenants may have to move out. Please keep in mind that this construction work is extremely disruptive. It's disruptive with the noise, it's disruptive with the level of services, right? So you may have to cut the water off, you may have to disconnect the sewer line if it's in the way from the, a lot of these soft story buildings have sewer lines that are hanging underneath the structure, which are above the cars in the parking area, and they have to be moved or they have to be disconnected while you're doing work in that section. So it's really, really important that you work with your contractor to plan out the days and the activities to be completed on a given day, okay? So that's super, super important. Don't procrastinate, get your plans done. And remember, click the link below. We have a ton of blog articles about soft story retrofitting. You may find it interesting. Share a comment below. I'd like to really know what your thoughts are. Do you like the video? Do you hate this video? What do you want to hear? What information do you want regarding soft story retrofit in Los Angeles and Santa Monica? My name is Alex Rodriguez with Bay Cities Construction, reminding you, you do not need a contractor. You need a team of pros.